Today's video is about converting metrics. So in our last video, we talked about what the different metric units are, about how big they are, how we can use them to measure things. And today we're going to learn how to convert between metric units. So our learning target today is I can convert between metric units. Please write down the date you're watching this and what you already know about converting between metric units. And maybe all you write here today is I know what metric units are because we learned that in our last video, and that's okay. We then have one vocabulary word today, which is convert. Convert means to change the form of measurement to different units without a change in size or amount. So please write all that down, and when you're ready, please restart the video when you're ready to go. So converting is something that we know how to do. We just maybe don't think of it a lot. So for example, if I told you that I had 12 inches, we know that 12 inches, if I want to know how many feet that is, that's 1 foot. We could also go the other way. If I said I had 4 feet, well, we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So I could say, oh, well, 4 times 12, that would be 48 inches. Now, even though these are different numbers, 12 inches, 1 foot, 4 feet, 48 inches, on either side of this equal sign here, these values are the same amount. We know that they are the same. We're giving them different units, and then there's a different amount of them. But 4 feet is the same thing as 48 inches. If I said that one person was 4 inches tall or 4 feet tall, and one person was 48 inches tall, we know that that means that they are the exact same height. So that's what we're doing when we're converting. We're changing the units, but we're not changing the amount of the thing we're measuring. So one question that I get a lot when I am teaching about metric conversion is, why do we care? Why are we learning about the metric system when even though every country in the world except the 3, Liberia, Myanmar, and the United States, uses the metric, we're in the United States. So shouldn't we just learn the other system of measurement? And the reason for that is very simple. It's because the metric system is actually a much simpler form of measurement. And it's one that the more we get used to, the better off we're going to be able to do a lot of things, including traveling, including doing science where they use all metric units, and a lot of other things. And the reason for that is very simple. In the standard system, or English, or customary, we have things like there are 12 inches in a foot. There are 3 feet in a yard. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. There's 1,760 yards in a mile. Then we get to things like there's 16 ounces in a pound. There's 2,000 pounds in a ton. There's 4 ounces in a cup. There's 4 quarts in a gallon. All of these numbers have nothing to do with each other. It's just like random numbers that don't mean anything. In the metric system, the only number you need to know is the number 10. We don't have to memorize 12 and 3 and 5,280 and 16 and where they all go and all of that. The only number you need to know is the number 10. And that works for meters, for liters, and for grams. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and that is with this chart. So this is our metric conversion diagram, and I strongly recommend that if you take your notes on Notability, or if you take notes on paper, that you draw out this diagram and that you use this to help you solve the problems. This is the best tool you can use for solving the problems, and you can use this on your test or on a quiz. This metric diagram is the most useful thing that you're going to get this unit. So please write it down on a sheet of paper, make a copy of it, make a copy in your notes and Notability, whatever you're going to do, but get a copy of this to help you with the problems. Okay, so the chart is basically set up. So in the center here, in the center, I have meters, liters, and grams. Those are my base units. And then I have the prefixes. So the prefixes are kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, and milli. So you remember we had kilometers, we had kiloliters, kilograms, milliliters, millimeters, milligrams. All of these words, these kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, milli, those can go in front of any of our base units. And the way it works is like this. The base unit, that's basically the ones place. And then we just use place value. If the base unit is our ones place, then decameters is the tens place. There are 10 decameters, or there are 10 meters in a decameter. Hecto is the hundreds place. There are 100 meters in a hectometer. Kilo is the thousands. There are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Deci then is going the other direction. Deci, 1 decimeter is a tenth of a meter. 1 centimeter is a hundredth of a meter. And 1 millimeter is a thousandth of a meter. It's very, very simply just place value. And what that means is that we can use the number 10. If I said I had 1 decameter is 10 meters. That means that to go from here to here on my chart, to go from the tens place to the ones place, I just multiply by 10. And that works on all of these. Anytime that I'm moving to the right on my chart, I just have to multiply by 10. And to move the other direction, for example, if I said I have 10 meters, well, that's 1 decameter. So to go the other direction, I always divide by 10. And I do that for each step. And if you're looking at this and going, I don't understand what this means yet, that's okay. I'm going to show you. But the really important thing to remember on our chart is it's always the number 10. And that anytime we're moving this way, we multiply. And anytime we move this way on our chart, we divide. Okay? Now we can use this chart to help us solve problems. So let's say, for example, looking down at this problem here. If I had 4 kilometers and I wanted to know how much that is in meters, I would look at my chart. I would say, okay, kilometers, and I would point to kilometers on the board. I'd say, okay, kilometers, and I'm going to highlight it in pink here. There's kilometers. And then meters is a base unit, so I'll highlight that quick there. If I wanted to count this and I wanted to count how many squares I have to move, I have to move 1, 2, 3 squares. I'm moving to the right because I'm going from kilometers to my base unit. So I had to jump 3 times. You could also look at my steps up here to help us do that. I had to do that jump, then that jump. Either way, I had to do 3 steps, and I'm moving the multiplication direction. I'm moving to the right. That means that I am taking my kilometers, which my value for kilometers is 4, and I'm multiplying by 10, 1, 2, 3 times. That's all I did here. 1, 2, 3 times. I'm going times. 10 3 times. So I'm going to erase all that quick. So I know that I'm multiplying by 10 3 times. So I would have my 4 times 10 3 times. And that's to get from kilo 1, 2, 3 steps over. Okay? So 4 times 10 times 10 times 10. The other way I could think about this is I'm multiplying by 10 to the 3 times. So this is 10. 4 times 10 to the third power. It's always 10, and the power is the number of steps I had to take to get from kilo to the base unit. 4 times 10 to the third power, that's 4 times 1,000, which is just 4,000. So 4 kilometers equals 4,000 meters. Showing you this again. If I have 3 liters and I want to turn that into milliliters, okay? Once again, looking at my chart. Liters, that's here. This is my base unit. Milliliters is over here. So to get from liters to milliliters, I'm moving to the right and I'm going 1, 2, 3 steps. So my really simple way just to do this is to say 3, that's my number of liters, always times 10, and then the power is the number of steps I took. I went 1, 2, 3 steps. So it's 3 times 10 to the third power. That's 3 times 1,000 again. And yes, you can use your calculator to help. And that means that this is 3,000 milliliters. Okay, what if I'm going from meters? So we're on this 3,200 meters to kilometers. For this problem, I'm going from meters to kilometers. So here, if I track my steps, I'm going 1, 2, 3 steps. And this time I'm moving to the left. That means I'm dividing. So here I would do 3,200 divided, because we're moving to the left, always by 10. And again, we're going 1, 2, 3. So it will be 10 to the third power. So every single time we're doing this, the first thing we do is we figure out if we're multiplying or dividing. Then our number is always 10, and we just have to figure out what power. So you have 3,200 divided by 1,000. And if I do that on my calculator, I get 3.2. Let's try this one. And if you want, pause the video at this point to see if you can solve this problem on your own. Here I have 61,000 centigrams, and I want to turn that into hectograms. Okay? Hopefully you tried this problem on your own. If I go up to my chart, I find centigrams here, and hecto is way over there. Now I'm going that way, so I know I'm dividing. So the first thing I'm going to say is, okay, I have 61,000. I know I'm dividing. I know it's by 10. So the next thing I want to do is figure out how many steps that was. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 steps to get me from centi to hecto. Okay? So that means that I'm dividing by 10 to the 4th power. 61,000 divided by, well, 10 to the 4th power is 10,000. It's basically a 1 with 4 zeros behind it. Remember, you can use your calculator to help you with that. It would be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, or 10 power button 4 on your calculator. 61,000 divided by 10,000, that gives me 6.1. Here's our last problem, 8.3 decagrams into decigrams. One thing here, since there's two with D's, DA, that's deca. And when it doesn't have the DA, when it's just D, that's a deci. And that is just a rule people have come up with because two of them have D's to help you with your abbreviations, okay? So 8.3 decagrams, I want to turn that into decigrams. All right, so let's look up here. Here's deca, here's deca. I'm going that way, so I'll be multiplying. And it's 1, 2 steps. All right. So I have 8.3 multiplying by 10 to the second power. 10 to the second power, that's just 100. 8.3 times 100 is 8,300. Or sorry, 830. Okay? Use your calculator to help you with those. Again, the most important is make sure you have a copy of this chart to help you with your problems and to help you with your quiz. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thank you so much for watching.